Good night, my name is Juan Jose Silva, and I will make the oral analysis of a streetcar named Desired based on the importance of the scenario in the development of the characters. First of all, it is very important to show what is the real question that will be answered during this oral analysis. That is that the characters of a novel, short story, or play can only be individualized if they are set in a particular background, time, and place. So, before stating the importance of the scenario in the different characters, I will have to pass through every one of them to analyze each one, the impact of the scenario in each character. So I will start with Stella, then with I will start with Blanche, then with Stella, and then with Stanley. So Blanche is a new girl, a new citizen of New Orleans, and she has a very big change by changing from Belle Reve to New Orleans. She was used to big spaces, she was used to a lot of privileges that not many people had, or privileges that made her feel very special. And when she moves to New Orleans, then she starts having another lifestyle, a lifestyle completely different. Blanche starts living in a 2-room apartment, and she has to share the apartment with Estella, her sister, and Stanley. So she changes a lot, and she has to being she needs to be used to the new scenario in which she will develop the rest of the story. And well, the impact is very big in Blanche because she if she didn't change, if she didn't move of city or place from Belle Reve to New Orleans, she will actually she wouldn't be characterized the way she's characterized in the whole play. And the impact mostly is in Blanche, particularly in Blanche, than in Stella and in Stanley. So the whole play starts when Blanche moves to New Orleans, and it develops in all the whole play develops in New Orleans. So changing of the scenario was like the cause of the main conflict of the play. So this although Stella didn't have that impact on of the scenario on her, she also develops between the scenarios. Stella lived before and was used to New Orleans lifestyle. She had a previous life with Stanley, and that allowed her to be the way she was when Blanche moved to New Orleans. When Blanche moved to New Orleans, Stella started to make her think that she wasn't gonna have like a big place or a big house just because of being her, that she needs to be used to the new lifestyle she's going to have. So the reaction of the changing of the scenario of Blanche, the reaction of Stella of the changing of the scenario of Blanche has a lot of importance during the play. And this will this and like if when they because they're living together, Stella and Blanche will have a lot of moments in which they will have several conversations, and these conversations are the ones that generate the main issues of the whole play. So they have a very big importance. Now in Stanley is Stella's husband, and he needs to be used with to Blanche because they weren't living with her before she moved from Belgrave, and the fact that Stanley needed to be used to her and had a lot of importance in the story in many different important events. And one of these events is when Blanche tells Stella that she shouldn't be with Stanley, and because he's not the kind of man a woman should have, a woman like Stella. Um, so the scenario have a very big impact in the development of the characters during the whole play, and the fact that the play develops in a particular time helps readers of the play understand the different issues that the different behaviors of men and women, because it is approximately 1950s, around 1950s. um, Stanley, well, there is a lot of Calvinism, and this is represented in the way Stanley treats her woman Stella, and the advantage he takes of the way Blanche is when he has the sexual advantage that he takes as knowing the way Blanche is, her personality, when he rapes her. And so this Calvinism represents the way men men's behavior in that time, and women behavior can be understood too by the particular time in the play in which the play develops. Some women adjust themselves to live around this like man's superiority, and but it's not a complete superiority, because there are some women that do not agree with this superiority, and these women are represented by the way in a way by the way the Blanche is, by Blanche's personality. So the difference between Blanche and Stella are the way are the different perspectives women have in this particular time, about the Calvinism that had a lot of repercussion because men felt very superior to women, and this superiority is represented by Stanley. So the scenario has a very big impact because it helps develop the whole story from the beginning when Blanche moves to New Orleans, and it has effects on Stella and Stanley because she changes their complete lifestyles, and the way they were living that was considered normal, but when Blanche moves, it becomes completely different. And the fact that they develop in a particular time around the 1950s helps understand the different behavior of the two women that are Stella and Blanche, that in the case of Stella feels like appeals, just wants to agree with the way humans are living in order to have some kind of a relaxed life, while Blanche is completely different women, and they show the different perspective of women in that time. And Stanley is the example of men that take advantage of the superiority they are having in that moment. And a very good example of this is when Stanley takes a sexual advantage of Blanche's personality. So the setting of the particular time and place in the development of the characters is very important, and without it the play wouldn't develop the way it was developed. And maybe if the same characters were placed in a completely different time in a scenario, the play would have changed completely, maybe their attitudes, personalities, and everything. So the importance is very big.